For this project, I'm using some DMC 100% crochet cotton. You want the ecru color. You want it to have the look of the old candle wicks, or even candle wicks today. We're going to need a large needle. This has a good sized eye on it so that this thread will go through easily. I get a nice length of thread, not a tremendously long amount, but I'm going to use it one strand, and I'm going to put some wax on it first so it will work better for me. I'm going to run it through this wax about twice and it won't tangle so much. That's just beeswax. And then I'm going to put partially a half of a quilter's knot. I've got it. I put the thread on my finger and the needle on the thread, and I'm going to roll it around it twice. Usually it's 3 times, but twice. And then hold it and pull the length of the thread through. Move your finger at the last minute, and you'll have this nice little knot that will go underneath. Now decide where you want to start, and I'm hoping we can get a good shot of this. Okay, I'm going to put my hand underneath. This ought to be a good place for you to see. I'm going to come up with my needle. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer here. Come up with my needle. Let me find it again. Okay, here we go. Come through with my needle right here. And I kind of work with one hand underneath and one on the top. Now, the colonial knot, and I'm going to try to do this backwards so that you can see it. I'm going to take my thread and go toward it a little bit so there's a loop this way. I'm going to put my needle in it and then come around it again. Let me do that again. Go through your loop, come around with your needle, and then go back through. That is a colonial knot. Now put just a little bit of pressure on it so it'll go through, and it's going to leave this nice little knot that you can see. Now I'm going to go just beyond it enough to make another knot. And I'm tangled up under here. Okay. Take your thread and go toward the thread so there's a loop to the side. Go through it and around the end and back in the hole you just came from. And I put one hand underneath to pull it under and the other hand up here to keep it from getting out of whack. And this is hard to do so you can see it, but I want you to get a good look. Come up again. Just follow that blue line and come up about the same distance. Go through the loop, go around, and go back through. When I was working on this, my husband kept looking and he said, "Are you sure that's going to look nice?" I said, "Promise you it's going to look nice when I get all the blue out." When we are finished with this, we just dip it in cold water and all the blue will disappear. So we're going to continue our knots, and I have one that's further along, and I'm going to change to that one so you can see a little bit more. And when we get done, I'll show you how to make the pillow. This is another one that I'm working on. It's a little bit further along. And I want you to see how the knots start to add up and really fill it in. Every now and then you might need to take your thread and unwind it. It sort of gets tangled after a while. But loop, loop, and down. And pull on it just a little bit to snug it, and it will go under. This goes fast once you've gotten the hang of it. You'll get the distance gauged automatically after a few stitches. So you're going to complete your pattern doing this, and when I'm in between things, I bring my needle up and just run it in and out a couple of times, and that way I won't lose it. These are big needles. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get it to the pillow stage. So we'll do that next. I've done all of my candle wicking now. I have my complete pattern done. The next step is to rinse the blue out with cold water. No soap, no heat, just cold water. And I'm going to show you how this can be done with a squirt bottle, just to show you how it disappears so quickly. Now when we get the blue gone, we'll let this dry, and then we'll get to the next step. It takes just a little bit of water. Now you really want to dunk this down in some water to completely get rid of it. But I'm going to spray it now so that you can see what's going to happen. When this blue disappears, those knots just stand out. And when this dries, we'll do the next step. Our pillow top is dry now. My blue's showing through a little bit. That's why you need to completely dunk it in water. Now, I'm not going to do any more to this one until I can quilt it and put the backing on it. But if you were going to quilt it, you would quilt in the open areas, put another layer of batting and backing, do your quilting, and then trim it up. And we're going to take the pillow that I've already done. I quilted around the candle wicking. Don't quilt across it, but quilt in your open spaces and then echo around the edges to finish it on out, and it will make it stand up and really be three-dimensional. So that's great. Now, if you are going to quilt it, as I said, take your quilt top, your pillow top, and layer it with another layer of thin polyester and another layer of muslin, and then quilt the areas that you want to quilt. When you get it done, trim it up to a finished 21.5 inches. We want 21.5 inches. We're going to make a 20-inch pillow, and we need that much for the seam. So 21.5 inches square is what you would trim it up. Now we'll talk about what we're going to put on the back.